Welcome back to another episode of my Tiny Mic Sessions. The Tiny Mic Sessions is a new series where I take my little microphones and I go all around Montreal to interview people that make music happen here. And today I am joined by none other than Jess Abran. Is it Jess Abran or Jess Abran?
Well, that depends whether you're speaking in français or anglais.
English. Which one do you prefer?
Jess Abran.
Jess Abran.
In
Okay,
English,
sounds good.
but then French, it's very much Jessica Abran.
Jessica Abran.
Jessica Abran.
Ooh, excuse me.
But no one needs
I
to
didn't
know
about
that.
Oh, okay.
Delete that.
Sorry. I'll bleep it out. Jessica.
She won't.
Abran. So thank you, Jess, for taking the time to speak to me today. It means a lot. I remember you sending me a DM being like, you're meeting up with all my friends. This is so awesome. And I was just like so happy that you reached out because I've actually been seeing your stuff online a lot. And so it was serendipitous. And then I just betrayed you today because I dyed my hair brown. But we, at some point in time, both had curly red hair.
I swear she had curly hair. You guys know. You've seen it.
It's all over my pictures, but I've now betrayed the clan. Sorry, guys. I wanted to speak to you about many things as a fellow curly redhead. But the first thing I'd like to ask you is to understand the music you make today, because you make music that's super informed by a bunch of different stuff from what I've listened to. To understand the music you make today, what do I need to know about your musical upbringing? What brought you here? Because this is special. This is different.
You say that to all of them. No, I'm kidding. No. Obviously, in any musician's life and what builds their repertoire, their genre, their niche, is their upbringing and doing the shadow work, the childhood nostalgia. And so, in my case, dog.
It's okay.
He's happy. I know. Oh my God, he's so cute.
You see the one does change to the post?
Yeah.
That one looks a little sad.
I think that's the one that was barking, no?
I'm sure. Anyways.
Cut to B-roll of a depressed
dog being sad.
Childhood nostalgia. So I grew up with my father blasting classical rock. Mm-hmm. So nothing to what I'm influenced by. I mean, I don't know. It's what the result is in my musical works today. But it was very much of the genre of Queen, Aerosmith, Boston, Neil Young, Journey. Just all of the typical dad rock stuff. And then, as one does in their teen years, I became very rebellious, very punk rock. Mm-hmm. Looking back now, a lot of people would characterize that as emo, but it was not emo.
At the time, you weren't thinking of it as emo.
It wasn't My Chemical Romance. It was the Sex Pistols. Okay? It was the Casualties. It was Anti-Flag, which is a bit of pop punk in there. Mm-hmm. But I was the real deal. So hair was dyed black, blue, purple streaks.
Oh,
yes. Just, you can see it. And so that is the result of my music today. I would say it really stems from like a mishmash of like when music was like soulful and rock and blues and folk influence, but back it really stems back from a time when music was a full completed story, a novel, when an album told a tale. And unfortunately, we're living in a time where no one's really releasing albums anymore, or if they are, they unfortunately get lost in the ether because of the way that consumerism is and how people consume music. It's all about singles now. So it's very hard to tell a story within a single. People aren't listening to albums anymore. Sorry, that was a very long
No. It's a very valid answer, and it's actually one of the questions that I wrote down when I realized that we were going to speak together today. Cheers. You said in an interview with she's pulling out the other interviews. Yeah.
She did her research.
Shit, guys. You said in an interview with, I think it was either Modern Rock or I will find the name. You did an interview with
Montreal Rocks.
I will put it in.
You're welcome.
But you said nobody cares about albums anymore in that interview, and it was not. I don't think it was this year. It was a couple of years ago, but you're still putting out full EPs.
Yeah.
So what's motivating you to, even though you feel like albums are dead, still be putting out like EPs that have track lists of at least 6 songs, right?
Well, that's the whole thing about staying true to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So how does that go for you?
Is that I've been through it. Like, I've been through mismanagement, bad agents, people who want to groom you or categorize you in a certain way.
Yeah.
People who want to put their hands in your pockets metaphorically and physically. It's just a really cutthroat, sharky, dirty industry. And so I feel like although I've been releasing EPs and full-length albums throughout my musical career, it's also important to kind of stick with the times to a certain extent, meaning like, yeah, put out that full album, but have a marketing plan prepared for that. So like play to the audience, have those 15 to 30 second reels prepared, have the single off that EP prepared, push it, in order for you to make that EP or that full-length album, or God forbid your LP, make it last by having marketing material, pushing specific songs, having video content curated around all those songs. That's how I've kind of cheated the system in order to do it my way.
Okay, so you make like an extended, thought-out plan to be able to make that model of releasing music still work.
Yeah, because otherwise people are just going to listen to the single off the EP and then that's it. Unless you've got, just a dedicated fan, which we love.
Yeah, we do love
the
those.
one guy or gal who does like on their Spotify end of the year wrap
and it's
up,
just you. Have you gotten those?
Yeah,
that's an achievement.
Dedication, yeah.
That's an achievement.
It's
That's
never
awesome.
the fans you want, though. It's also the ones that want your dirty panties.
Oh,
but
no.
We'll take them.
Oh no.
We'll take them.
They're just like, oh, can you send me your album and a picture of your foot, please? And you're like,
That request I haven't had yet.
yeah, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. Actually, I think that's very interesting, and the idea of staying true to yourself, I think, is also interesting because you've also spoken about having, your first productions, like your first, like the first music you put out, being like super raw and not necessarily super technical. And you've spoken about what? You've spoken about it becoming better produced, basically.
Yeah.
What do you mean by better produced? What does that mean for you? Because that can mean a bunch of stuff from different people. It could mean having a producer make a very high quality beat. It could mean having super awesome microphones. Like, what does that mean for you to make your music to the full extent?
Well, the difference between my earliest works of music to now, my definition was quite literal. My first ever album was called The Closet Album, and it was a very deep, dark work of art, if I may say. It was literally an album recorded partially on a tape deck, partially on a very old MP3 player from like 2010.
Oh my goodness.
And I was forced to record it in my closet.
What do you mean forced?
I had a very turbulent relationship with my mother growing up.
Okay, fair.
I'm her firstborn child. She was also quite the artiste when she was younger, and I feel like I may have put a blockage to her plans. I don't know. It's just, it's deep. It's childhood trauma things. But anyway.
Singer-songwriter stuff,
Yeah. But yeah, so my first ever album was recorded on a tape deck. It was super, it's like, I revisit that album now, the Closet album, and it like, oh my God, it like triggers me to the point of tears. Like I get really emotional listening back to it, because of it just brings me back to the childhood I had, which was magical, by the way, but it was just like a lot was going on. If you guys are ever tempted to visit that horrendously produced album in a very technical sense, it's very emotive. Like you can hear physical, verbal violence in the background. Like the way that I chose to edit that album just speaks to the childhood I had. And I don't mean that in like a dark way, even though the album is really dark, but it's just like, it's I don't
It's
know if you,
informative.
yeah, I don't know if you have that, but you go back to your
The thing is,
earliest
I'm
works
still
of
pretty
art.
close to that.
But don't you ever look back and you're like, oh my God, I created that. Like, how did that come out of me? Like, where did that go? Do I still have it? Do I still have that creativeness in me? Anyways, to answer your
Do you
question.
feel like you still have it?
Yes, but I have to be gentle with myself because I've questioned that so many times. And we can get into that.
Sure.
We can get into that, but in terms of music production, for me, as I said, it was very quite literal. It was from recording something on a tape deck in my closet.
And it is what it is. Like, it's just a take. Like, there isn't, like...
Yeah. To then actually having something recorded in a studio. So that was a huge level up.
That's a big transition,
for me.
though, right there.
But we're talking about my first album being in 2010, and now we're going into 2025. So it was like so much growth happening within that time for me.
Yeah, I want to ask also because the first things that we find, let's say, on like streaming services.
What do you find?
Well, no, the earliest stuff is from 2017. It's your stuff with Steven. Steven Voice. That's the first stuff that I found, at least. So the Closet album is not on there. Is it on Bandcamp? Like, can people still? Can people dig it up or no?
I have not put that across all streaming services. The Closet album is like.
Well, I mean, it's clearly close to you.
It's
in
very
a very,
close
very
to me.
Specific
it's not
way.
something that I think everyone would enjoy, but I think if there was like a true baby out there, a true fan, you can find it on, what are those other alternative streaming sites? The Bandcamp, the SoundCloud, those types of things. You can definitely find.
You have to go and listen to
there.
it with the mindset of what it was.
Yeah.
At the time, that's kind of how I feel about the stuff that I put out in like 2020.
And I gotta say, I'm really happy. God, I can't do math. What's 2010 to 2025?
15
years.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with how it sounds in terms of like what it brings. Because to a certain point, this translates to like video games. It doesn't matter. You can be into a really high graphics video game.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like the nostalgia of like playing Zelda or like Diablo 1 or Age of Empires. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's
like
nostalgia.
the super heavy produced stuff, which is like sounds super clean and crispy and but then there's something about that dirty, gritty stuff that hits the heartstrings.
That's true. And I kind of feel that way about, and I don't know how much of your hands are in there, but that's kind of how I feel about your vocal production on your records. Like it's got like almost like a nostalgia to it, and it's not like, I wouldn't call it crispy in the sense that like there's like some kind of like almost like distortion often on your voice that I find, and like in a way that's to me very nostalgic. I don't know, is that something that like happened on purpose, or is that something that kind of just like went with the sound of everything else? You're like, yeah,
that was an accident.
But it's sticking clearly, so it must have been a good accident.
A production error that I have heard. You're very kind in saying that, like, wow, it kind of sounds like so 90s and crispy and
no, but you know what I mean? I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean.
There's an aesthetic to it that works really well.
Thank you so much. That's honestly what I needed to hear, because I surround myself by close friends who give it to me how it is, and they're like,
God.
You didn't press the right button, or something was
Girl,
wrong.
Guys, be nice.
I need that feedback, TBH. But I'm really hoping people like you listen to it and they're like, ooh, yes.
I thought it was a choice.
I've literally had like this new, I'm engaged with this new band now.
Okay.
And my new guitarist, literally, it's like, Jess, I love your new album, like big fan. But like, there's something with your vocal. Like something's off with the vocal there, and I'm like, yeah, that's a production error.
So like, okay, so this is something that came up in production and kind of got...
Yeah, it was just we were so far in at that point, like so deep, and like so many sessions, and already the vocals mixed, and then send it off to mixing, and then it's just there's this white noise in the background of my vocal, and we're all like WTH, and and it was just like I had to make a choice at that point of like, okay, do we scrap it and re-record everything, or is this just the aesthetic?
That's just what it is.
Is this the aesthetic now? Is this the lifestyle? And I said yes. Yes.
And that's okay.
But it works. I think it works. It sounds great on vinyl.
Oh yeah. Oh. No, but I mean,
It works
yeah.
on vinyl. But thank you. I really appreciate that.
But okay, so in 15 years of recording music, you must have evolved a skin for when stuff like that happens, because I don't have that yet. Like, I've been tracking for my EP, my like actual project that isn't from like when I was a teen. I've been tracking for it, and every time the tiniest thing sounds off, I lose my mind. So how do you develop a skin for that stuff that's like, you know what I mean?
I don't know if you do, though. So
No,
like, sorry
there's
to
no
break
hope
it
for
to
me,
you.
Jess.
It just will suck. No, we are our own worst nightmare.
Yeah.
We will suck about
I'm
that
the world's
stuff.
worst boss to this
We
girl.
will suck about that forever. We're going to be perfectionist about our own things. We're going to notice things that the average listener or even friends or even other musicians won't pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be like, nah, there's that little thing, or I took a breath here that you need to take out, or there's going to be a thing, or no, it wasn't quite on key, but there's always, at least for me, but I don't know if I've built a second skin for that yet. I don't know. My skin's still paper thin, girl. I mean, damn.
I can see the vein.
She pale. So yeah, I'm very
Right
sensitive.
there with you.
Very sensitive to that. So that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
It's just, it comes to a point in a production and in a timeline and a finance
You're like,
thing
it is
where you
what
just
it
have
is.
to call it at some point.
Okay.
And so yeah, just gotta make tough decisions, and they are tough decisions.
Yeah. Does it affect the way you promote the work or the music?
Promote it? No, God. You're always going to be a perfectionist, especially with your own music, your own work. It's never going to be good enough. I think it's actually really rare that I listen to something of mine that's like gone through the recording process, the mixing process, and the mastering process. It's rare that I'm like, this is 100% chef's kiss. There's always something of like, oh, but it's like
this thing, but that.
yeah, you just gotta call it at some point. Otherwise,
that's
it's
actually reassuring to me, because that means everybody else also feels like.
yeah.
What about I've also heard you say in a live setting that sometimes you still get the jitters. I feel that way sometimes as well. But do you think, are there things that make it better for you, in the sense that, or like types of performances that are more like attainable and easy to do?
Alcohol.
She says with her glass of wine.
Yeah. I'm so anxious. I've never been diagnosed for anything, okay? I feel like we're living in a time where everyone's self-diagnosing themselves as like semi-autistic or something. Not to be insensitive. But I think I have issues. So do most people. I mean, look at the climate. We're all suffering.
Look at the music scene. I don't think I know a single musician. Sorry, guys. I don't think I know a single musician that's fully there.
No offense, besties.
Love you.
We're all mentally ill to some capacity, and I am very, very, very anxious. I'm anxious now.
Oh,
I'm keeping my blazer on because I have severe sweat stains near my pectoral areas. Armpit areas. Scientific term.
Pectoral is crazy.
And
I wore a white shirt, girl. My arms are staying down.
It's just, I'm always anxious, and so whether it be in my day-to-day life, my music life, my entertainment, my professional entertainment career, I am going to be anxious, and it's only now, there's something magical, man, about turning 30.
Okay.
And I'm no longer that magical number, but I'm a 30-something-year-old woman. I know it doesn't show. But you really do, like what they say about it is
It's
true.
true. Oh
you
my
start
God.
giving less of fucks. There are so many less fucks to give.
Wow.
My fuck basket
Is empty.
is almost empty.
Whoa.
There's a few fucks in there.
Oh.
But it's like, it's so liberating. It's so liberating. Like 3 years ago, if I would have done this interview with you, I would have worn my best push-up bra. I would have caked on the makeup. I would have really just been like, I want people to remember me, and I want the male audience to remember my tits. And
And that's just not...
don't care. I really don't care.
That's so freeing.
Yeah. It really is. Sorry, what was the question?
I can't remember anymore, and it doesn't matter. I was told that my frontal lobe would ship at 25.
Oh, I don't know if mine did. I was still a fucking idiot.
But I mean, it's very reassuring to hear from you that it gets better. Slightly better.
Yeah, I mean,
to a certain extent.
I don't know. We're all just like big kids. We're all just like children in somewhat adult bodies, more or less. And there's something about, especially in being in the artistic field, growing older, being more sure of yourself, more sure of your art, more sure of your practice, more sure of what you... Sorry, that's a bug. I'm not crazy.
I saw it.
It's just very liberating. It's very freeing.
Yeah.
And I love that about where I am now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's totally awesome. I'm going to switch to a completely different topic and ask you the question that you might find boring, but I don't find boring, is are you self-funded? If yes, is that something... what's your relationship with the idea of being self-funded? Because some people love it. Some people are like, I do my stuff and I pick everything myself. I do everything exactly how I would want it to do it. And then some people are like, I love that I'm getting help from whatever organization. Yeah. So how do you live that?
I am self-funded.
Beautiful.
I always have been. There's been a few moments within my professional music career and otherwise, where I've been with various talent agencies or music management agents, and all of these experiences have been god awful. Just really bad. On Spotify and across all digital platforms, you will see a song of mine called Molly. I love that song. I really love it. It's beautiful. I was with an agent who, upon looking at me, said, curly hair is not marketable. It never will be. Oh my God,
the cover!
Never will be. And we will straighten your hair. And so he dished out thousands of dollars. And he straight up told me that I am not the it girl, and that he was going to give me a huge makeover and turn me into the it girl.
Oh God, that's some power complex stuff.
And I've met many men like him in my life. And so to this day, like if you go online and you see the cover art for Molly, it's me with like really straight hair. You can't even recognize me with Stephen Voice. And it doesn't look like Stephen Voice and Jess Abran. It looks like Stephen Voice and some other bitch. And
that's true. It does look quite different.
Have you seen it?
I have, yeah. I have.
So
it's the one with it's either a blue background or a green background.
Yeah, and I'm wearing some like power suit, like some red Republican power suit with some see-through plastic top under. I don't know, man.
I'll put it up on the screen right here. Enjoy, guys.
Yeah, just not this. It doesn't look like this.
This is the real you.
Yeah, more or less. This is very comfy me.
Which is good. That's what we want.
Which is the real me.
I want a little cozy meat.
And so, I've been through agents and management and whatever, and I'm very, very happy to be where I am now. I've always loved being an independent artist because what they say is true. As independent artists, you get to choose your own way. No one's going to manipulate you or tell you what it is that you're supposed to be doing because you know more than anyone else what you're supposed to be doing. It's nice when you're young, a little bit aimless as to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Because then you have the funding and you have someone who's going to tell you where you're going to go, what you're going to look like, who you're going to be, what songs you should be doing. Sprinkle in a little bit of Quebecois music. Sound like Marie-May. You could be the next Cœur de Pirate. I've heard it all, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And it's great in the beginning because it may give you the boost that you need to kind of then leave them. to do your own thing once you discover yourself and what you want to do, or it could show you immediately like what you don't want to be, what you don't want to do. And so I was very privileged to know early on what I don't want.
That's
and
awesome.
that I'm going to figure it out my own way.
I wanted to ask you something, because we spoke about the past, we spoke about the present. I'm doing the Christmas past, Christmas future thing, so now I gotta ask you about the future. What's something that you would want to happen for the Jess Abran project in the upcoming like years, months? What's the next thing for you?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I could give you a bullshit answer, which is like, yeah, I've got this and this and this going on, but I have recently, like gone through like a really traumatic and drastic change in my life. And I haven't given my music career much thought. I know that for the end of this year, I've put all my efforts into putting out something like a musical work. I was in Sudwest Studio recently, and I really wanted to do a live off the floor session.
That's awesome.
Like a recording
I
with
love
the
that.
video
Yeah.
with Esther. I don't know if you've met her. She does most of like the video recordings over there. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So that will be released before the end of the year this year. I also really made it a point to do this with you before the end of the year.
I'm glad. I'm happy to be here.
This year has been one of the best and absolute nightmarishly hellish years of my life. And it's crazy how both of those things can be true at the same time. I might as well just say I lost my dad.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Tragically.
That's
not his
yeah.
time.
Oof.
Like, just like that.
Yeah.
And life does not prepare you for the business of death.
Absolutely not.
He was unmarried. I'm his eldest daughter. Like, I'm in charge of that.
Yeah.
And it's
a lot.
okay, I'm not crying. Thank God. I was like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And then the moment passed. Okay, thank God. Yeah, it's been
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, I know, but I really don't want to. I've
That's okay. You
shed. Bro, you think you know what pain is. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, man, I don't even want to talk about this, but you think you know what pain is? And I'm telling you, it hits another, you're like, oh, there's another level to this. It's like inhumane amount of pain.
Yeah.
And so I'm just surviving.
Yeah.
And I'm just really proud. Oh, God damn it. That I was able to just do this year.
Yeah, and you're
quit
getting
my job today.
That's true. Congratulations. For real, that's a big step. And
Thank
just
you.
being able to sit through that period of your life in itself is an achievement,
Dude,
you know?
it was the worst time of my life.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
That's like,
I'm sorry, too. Oh, God, it sucks. But,
Yeah.
I was able to do so many cool, creative things, and, grateful for people like you who just do their passions, and, I've just, like, reached a stage in my career where I know what I want, I know what I'm doing, I'm able to do what I love, and all I want to do is support other people who are on that path, too, which is why it was so important for me to record at Studio Sudwest, because I really believe in what Will and those guys are doing.
Yeah.
And I really like what you're doing. You're a really good interviewer.
Thank you.
And so I really wanted to be part of that. Selfishly, wanted to be a part of that.
listen, it's a shared, it's a shared happiness to be here, so cheers to
I
that.
feel like my face got so red.
No, it didn't, you're fine.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
Yeah, if you say that, you're channeling it. I'll be completely, if we're being real, I'll be completely real with you. I think as I'm 24 now, so at the point where I'm at in my life, I'm like technically an adult.
Technically.
I really don't feel like one, and the thought of my parents passing is definitely one of my entire world's biggest fears. You know?
never
It's
even
like,
thought about it.
You're,
Do you know?
you
I was so
never-
self-involved Anyway, that's another whole thing. You're going to have all the thoughts, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Dude, that's going to hit you. Anyway. Yeah, it's just a nightmare. But, yeah.
But I think there's, even through all that, there's things in your year that are super worth celebrating.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's been the most loving, most fulfilling, and nightmarishly dreadful year of my life. And it's so crazy how both of those things
can be true.
were able to exist. I experienced two of my best friends married each other this year.
Wow.
Two of my best friends married each other this year.
That's
I was
beautiful.
there, I caught the bouquet.
You
and
did?
At the same time,
Girl.
the following day, experienced my father's funeral.
Oh, God.
And they were there. They should have been experiencing marital bliss. They should have been just sleeping in, having the craziest post-marital sex ever, and yet they showed up to my father's funeral and brought all of their wedding flowers. Yeah, just to save me the trouble of planning for a funeral, brought all of their wedding shit. Can I swear? I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Yes, you can. You've been swinging this whole time.
I know. I'm so sorry. Demonetized.
No, you're good. I'm not. You think this is monetized, girl?
But yeah, it's just been like a wild ride, and I'm just in awe of how resilient humans are. It's just crazy.
You're making it out.
Just give yourself, it's so tacky, but give yourself grace, and you can accomplish anything. After the year I've had, the job I've quit, the job I've just landed yesterday, you can do anything. It's crazy. You can do it.
That's an awesome message.
And I did it.
I love that. Okay, here's my last question, because we're going to have to wrap it up. But my last question is, speaking of doing anything and helping out your fellow man, a woman, person, if you had to speak to Jess 2015, I would say, what would you say to her? Like, what kind of advice would you give her to start her career in a way that is, true to what you have now?
I would say 2015 Jess, dump your boyfriend.
I feel like every girl I'm going to ask this to, she's going to start with that.
Dump him.
10
years.
It's okay.
10 years with that guy was 10 years too long. You should have stopped it at 4. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to speak to all women out there, or even men, who are struggling in codependent relationships and yet trying to be successful in their career, and their relationships are holding them back, type of thing. Be selfish. Be selfish. One thing I'm learning very quickly is that life is fleeting, and it can go at any time. Be selfish while you can, because life is so short. And I don't mean live selfishly without care or caution to anyone else, but like, man, in your gut what's right and what's true. And if you have a fire in your belly, you gotta just get after it. So don't let anyone bring you down in that retrospect, whether it's a boss or a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Yeah, recognize that toxic shit earlier. Yeah, that's what I gotta say about that.
The earlier the better.
The earlier the better. And you know, because you get those feelings in the beginning.
It starts with just a little itch, though.
Your gut knows. Gut knows. Yeah, that's what I would tell not my 15-year-old self, but my 2015-year-old self.
Yeah,
is just, it in your gut, girl. You know it already. So just act on it when you know it. Don't wait for the what ifs, or I can change him, or let me just hold on a little while longer.
You're not being impulsive.
No,
Actually,
do it. You're not being impulsive enough.
Yeah. I used to think like I would dismiss kind of my own gut feeling, because I was like, you're being impulsive, and then later on, I mean, I'm still not, my frontal lobe hasn't shifted yet, but I'm working on it.
Women are born with an intuitiveness. Some are stronger than others. Some need to be worked on more than others. but yeah, you use that because we are born with it. It's like that motherly thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have it. So listen to it.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jess.
You're
well,
welcome.
thank you for taking the time. Again, I'm super happy to have you here.
Me too.
Thank you for being a part of this Tiny Mic
Thank you.
series. And I want to say thank you to this wonderful place that we're in. Can you shout them out?
Yes, so this is Verdun Beef. It's part of Verdun Beach. And so Verdun Beef is like this beautiful place that has welcomed me. I feel like I am a part of their family to the point where I may be one of their most annoying clients. But hey, I'm going to give them.
and record
I'm going to give them a shout out right now. Verdun Beef, Verdun Beach, right next door. If you're in Verdun, you need to check them out. All local produce, local butcher, local diner. We're in the Verdun Beef part right now. If I say Verdun Beef one more time, maybe we'll put their logo across the screen.
Yeah, we could totally do that. I'll find a way.
But yeah, I might be doing an acoustic show here at one point.
No way, really?
Yeah,
I want to come. I
yeah,
wanna
come,
there.
be a part of it.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Girl,
So-
and do you want to know a fun fact?
What?
I didn't know
Sorry,
what this
what?
was gonna look. What do you want? I didn't know what this was gonna look like, so I brought my guitar, thinking we could play a song together. But and then I walked in, and I was like, it was probably not gonna happen. But at some point, I would love to play a song with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for sure,
Awesome.
for sure. Let's
okay,
do
guys,
it.
I'll let you know when it happens.
Yeah, I would like to thank Verdun Beef and Verdun Beach for having me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is a huge thank you and a huge shout out to them. Check them out. They're gonna blow up soon, guys. They're gonna blow up. Their menu is anyway. This isn't an ad, okay? They're not paying me for this, but their menu is absolutely exquisite. It's absolutely so cheap for what you're getting. I'm talking about Wagyu beef grilled cheese for $12.
Well,
Where
that's
else are you
crazy.
gonna, bro?
That's crazy.
Anyway, that's that.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. And
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, exactly. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Tiny Mic Sessions. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.